let's look at the matchups in the Western Big Six for week number 6, the final week, the finale, the big one, United Township at Sterling. I think, man, what stands out to me is that, Sterling comes in off a huge win, but they're reeling a little bit. They got some guys who are banged up. They got some guys potentially who are sitting out because of some COVID protocols. So, I mean, they're up against it here. On the flip side, United Township has as much momentum as I've seen in any football team in several years. I mean, there's just so much riding into this game for United Township. What do you see in this matchup?
Yeah, like you said, can a battle of two rushing teams, more or less. So who's going to have the ball at the end of the game, really? And I guess de facto, if I'm remembering the standings right, Sterling is probably the quote-unquote champion of the conference again. Am I right?
They have not lost yet.
Right, and Rocky's lost twice.
Correct.
UT's lost twice. Unless I'm really – I think – like I said, de facto, quote-unquote, they're the champs. So yeah, this is a chance for one, Sterling, to go undefeated 6-0. And again, claim top spot, however you want to do that. Or it's UT's chance again to play spoiler and to really bring momentum going into the fall season, getting a statement win at Sterling in the final game of the year and saying, here we are, we'll see you in 5 months.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, can Sterling's defense do what they did 2 weeks ago against Rock Island and really, stifle that Rock Island offense? They gave up some points against that high-powered passing in Moline. So, but they got the job done. Obviously, like we talked about, they came away with the win. I think that should be a good game. How do you stop Kane Smith? What do you do? I don't know. That's the task for Sterling.
If Sterling gets into a similar hole that they were in this week, if they're down 21-6 to UT, I don't know how you come back from that because UT's just going to control that ball. So, fewer games this week, so clearly that's one of the matchups of the week for us.
Yep, that's a big one. Moving down the way, I think the next one to look at, and this is a game that, man, I wouldn't have had circled as a marquee game a few weeks ago, but Moline and Geneseo. I think we've seen so much from Geneseo in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks that I want to see them. I want to see them again in this week 6, and I want to see them tested against this high-powered Moline offense. Moline's going to go to the air. They're going to pass the ball a lot. Can you stop them? On the flip side, can Bruce Moore run the ball 60 times to keep the ball out of Moline's hands?
Yeah, right. Matchups aside, that's going to look great. 2 great uniforms there. Just got to throw that out there because I think both those teams were 2 of our favorites. So,
absolutely, yes.
And again, in the Western Big Six, if I'm not mistaken, all 8 teams are going to get all 6 games in, and I don't think any other conference had that sort of success rate.
Yep.
So kudos to everyone for, if some teams missed some players due to protocols, but for the most part, everyone kind of stayed healthy. So that's the most important thing. Can Moline get a win? To cap off maybe not so good of a spring that they were looking for. Obviously, they've got some younger players. Can they get somewhat of a signature win? I would say at this point, I think Geneseo's earned that. And can Geneseo cap off a great spring and keep that momentum going into the fall as well?
Yeah, I think if you're Moline, I think if you're head coach Mike Morrissey, I think just the amount of productivity you've seen from that offense and knowing that those players are coming back.
Yeah, man,
I think you kind of throw the record out. Don't worry about the record, especially considering, look at the way they lost to Alleman. I mean, that was a freak, fumble, scoop, and score with a minute left in the game, and it went into overtime, and Alleman was able to come away with the win. Credit to Alleman. I'm not taking anything away from them, but that's a win that Moline essentially had, and they gave it away, So I think throw the records out the window and know that Moline's a better football team than that record indicates. And Geneseo is proving that, they're a good football team when they were sitting at 0-2. They're much better than the 0-2 football team that we, were talking about several weeks back. So that one's, I'm interested to see how that one ends. And, we'll keep moving down the list here. Alleman goes to Galesburg to wrap up the regular season, and Rock Island tries to keep things going, tries to right the ship to end this against Quincy. They go on the road trip to Quincy. I think overall, Mitch, I'm just excited to watch this week 6. But then more importantly, there are so many storylines and interesting little, factors heading into next season, heading into the fall in the Western Big Six. This division is going to be as wide open as it has been in several years. It's going to be really exciting football.
Yeah, you can see, and I don't want to narrow it down to any number of teams, but really all 8 have a legitimate shot to say that they could be that top dog come fall, because they've all shown signs of it. Some teams may more than others, but that goes back to maybe not taking as much stock in some teams here in the spring session, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they're trying to do. But yeah, this will be an incredibly competitive conference come fall.
Yeah, I just look back at, week in and week out, depending on the results, we've talked up almost every team in the conference. And it's not just talk. I mean, I think we've legitimately believed what these teams are doing and think they're doing really good things, because they are. So that's what I'm saying, is that I think there's just so much talent spread across this league, and a lot of it's coming back, and that's really exciting.